This episode is brought to you by State Farm. Sports are all about teamwork, and so is insurance. Whether you need an in-person or digital assist, State Farm is there to help you choose the right coverage for your home, car, and more. Get a game plan that helps fit your life and talk to State Farm today. State Farm with the assist. Coverage options are selected by the customer. Availability and eligibility vary by state.
This episode is brought to you by Polestar. There's only one true way to experience the all-electric luxury SUV Polestar 3, and that's to take a test drive. It can go from 0 to 60 in as little as 4.8 seconds with the dynamic handling of a sports car. But to truly understand how it commands the road, you need to be behind the wheel. Up to 350 miles of range, the 3D surround sound system by Bowers & Wilkins. It's all something you have to experience to believe. So book your test drive for Polestar 3 today at polestar.com.
Have you ever spotted McDonald's hot, crispy fries right as they're being scooped into the carton? And time just stands still. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
Welcome to another Finely Edged production for the Premier League Cricket Club. Connecting players and coaches, clubs and leagues, volunteers and supporters alike, you're in the right place for the best of the 33 ECB Premier Leagues and the 20 NCCA counties, bringing you the stories, the stats and the standout performances that make this game great. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button to both our Premier League and NCCA shows so you don't miss any episodes. Now, shall we get stuck in? So welcome everybody to the Premier League Cricket Show, and we're going to do things a little bit differently this week, and the reason we're going to do them a little bit differently is because we've got a guest who's got a very specific time slot that we need to work towards. As always, with B3 Cricket bringing this to you, I've got Mr. Cric Stats AI himself, Hugh Newsome. How you doing, bud?
How are we doing? Yeah. No, I think our guest is of such a higher calibre. He's actually too busy to sit on a recording with us for an hour. So we've only got him for 20 minutes, but it's quality over quantity.
Absolutely. And talking of quality, he's back. Mr. Taaffe, how was your little sojourn in the Greek islands?
Yeah, back after some annual leave. It was hot. It was 40 degrees. It was boiling.
Is that good? I mean, is that good? Was it too hot? I mean, are you moaning after coming back, or are you going, well, that's fine?
It was hot. Second day got burnt to shreds, and then it was a couple of days in the shade. But no, it was out of office, everything down, sun lounger.
Lovely. A
couple of beers and tequila sunrises, and it was really good.
Well, it's good to know you had a great holiday, but the world of cricket continued without you. The socials continued non-stop. And we even managed to do the Cric performances, Hugh, with some brilliant Sri Lankan pronunciation from you.
Yeah, I also think I sledged you, Matt, for last week's effort as well. So, yeah, it was...
No, let's get this right. Let's get this right. You didn't sledge him. You claimed his 2 runs.
Oh, that's what I did, yeah. I added him to my 7, yeah.
That's fine. But away Saturday to Friday, Saturday morning, back at Manchester, 3 in the morning, up to Kendal.
That's commitment.
Perfect.
Rain off.
Yeah. Rained off. Yeah.
I'm going to say perfect, but I looked at the results and there wasn't one because it was rained off and you didn't even get to bowl a ball.
Yeah, we were the only one in the country in the Premier League.
I think it was the only, from having a look, the only game that didn't get going. Yeah, I think there was a couple of rain-affected games, but you're basically in Kendal, which is where I'm going on Thursday, and the forecast is great.
It's about right. Hey, let's get stuck into the numbers straight away before our guest comes in, and let's start with all those Cric boys, shall we, Matt?
Yeah, it's familiar names and an awful lot of runs, to be honest. They've absolutely churned them this weekend, and like you say, familiar name up the top, Bracebridge Heath's Avishka Thurindu with 150 on Saturday and 190 on Sunday, and we put a post out last night, and he's leading run scorer out of our Cric stable by far. He's just shy of 1,500 runs at an average of just below 90. So he's just an absolute run machine. 2,000 runs last year, and he's on course to smash that out the park this year by the looks of it. So he's top of the pile, and then Gareth Severin for Harefield, 170 off 140, and like you say, again, 1,200 runs for the year already. He's absolutely whacking it for Harefield. Yaskathari, 145 not out for Al Sager on what looked to be an incredible game, 13 off the last over. He needed 3 to win off the last ball, and he hit a 4, and the next highest score in that game, I think, was 22. So he's done it all himself there. Will Clark, Bromley Common, the New Zealander, 148 not out. Dikshanzu Negi for West Horton, he's gone 142 and a fifer in the same game. Leeks, Matt Campbell, we spoke about him an awful lot this year. Another 100 for him. He's surely got to be knocking on the door of Zimbabwe. Missy Banks for Plymouth, again, New Zealand females cricketer, 121 not out. And then just more and more hundreds, to be honest. There was an awful lot this weekend, but I won't name them all, but there was probably another 5-10 to go out of our lot. So proper weekend.
65 centuries around the country in Premier League cricket across the weekend. Mr. Tarindu is actually now, he might be top of Cric. He's number 2 in the country when it comes to Premier League runs. He's about 50 odd runs behind Adam Jones of Sudbury, but 750 runs almost so far in Premier League cricket alone. But he's playing Saturdays and Sundays, isn't he?
Yeah.
What we got for the rest of the Centurions around the country, though, Hugh?
Well, yeah, I always think it's quite interesting. At the moment, it seems very consistent in the 60s, 70s, in terms of hundreds every week. When I was looking at the scorecards on Saturday evenings, my wild Saturday nights every game I looked at seemed to have a sort of a battling 40 to win the game, and there was guys chipping in here or there, so it was quite interesting when the stats all popped up. Actually, there was hundreds everywhere. So yeah, it's funny. Actually, we talk about these hundreds every week, but just as often it's a battle in 40 that wins the game, or a last wicket pair or something like that. But yeah, so at the top, Hitchcock thinned Shepherd's Bush 187 off 183 balls against Teddington in the Middlesex League. Hell of a performance there. That's top. Amrit Basra 171 off just 116 balls for Berkswell against Shrewsbury in the Brum League. Zaid Falil 158 for West Herts against Hertford in the Hearts League. There's a lot of Hearts going on there, isn't there? All our hearts are with them. Well done. Avishka Thurendu, Bracebridge Heath, that's the one there. And just looking at that, I mean, his run of form is absolutely ridiculous. I mean, he's had 176 earlier in the season in the league, 157 already. When he goes big, I think that's his lowest. 151 not out against Market Deeping is his lowest 100 of the year. And then we've gone 151 not on 14th of June, 77 in the Cup. A failure in the league last weekend, 204 in the cup. Sorry, in the Sunday game, 154 and then 190, as Matt said. So he's literally, we got 400s in the last 6 innings. The lowest of which, the lowest total was 151 not out. So yeah, he's proven to be rather useful, and he chucks down a few as well every now and then, and blagged a couple of wickets at the weekend as well. So yeah, he's going all right. And then Umar Amin, 153 not out for Haywards Heath against Bognor Regis in the Sussex League. That's the top 5. Just a couple to pick out from the scores below. Apologies for those that we skim past. Jonah Wicks, a lad, it's coupled as Joe Wicks. I don't know whether he prefers to be a Joe or a Jonah for Great Witchenham. He's a lad kept an eye on for the last few years. Taken a bit of time getting going for Great Witchenham. It was a hell of a performance from him, 118 off just 76 balls against Sudbury to get them the win. And one more that's jumped out, Hamza Sheikh, I've heard a lot about him. Nolan Dorridge, 133 off 160 against Moseley in the Birmingham League. So yeah, another a name we'll hear a lot about. It's nice to see them coming back to play league cricket and doing well.
It is, yeah, and he's one of the ones I had highlighted to look at. But I'm going to talk about one other player who was in a second 11 side at the weekend and scored 100, and it'd be wrong of us not to point this out. We commented a few weeks ago on the cricket kid Jackson Bentley making his Premier League debut, one of the youngest Premier League players in the country. Jackson then had the misfortune to break bones in his hand, which is not good when you're a wicketkeeper, and has been out for a few weeks now. But he's now back playing in the second 11 at Nantwich and scored his first senior ton in senior cricket at the weekend, and batting at the other end, perfect. His dad. I mean, you don't get much better than that for getting your first century, do you, Hugh? I'm sure you're looking forward to that day.
Well, no, because I'll never be batting at the other end with Toby anymore. But I think I think I'd rather sit and watch, to be honest. But yeah, it's yeah, we'll let him. But speaking of wicketkeepers, so just on the game this morning, I was just dropping the lad off, and one of the coaches has got the dog stick out and has nailed the wicketkeeper on the elbow. He's off to hospital, down to 10 men. So yeah, that's it's not a good day for breaking stuff for wicketkeepers. So yeah. Yeah.
It isn't at all. Well done, Jackson.
Yeah.
Anyway, hey, let's look at the bowlers, Mr. Taaffe, because I think you're right, Hugh. The amount of tons, 65 around the country, almost balanced out perfectly by the 61 fifers or more. And there seems to be a fifer in every game and a ton in every game by the time we'd looked at it. What you got, Matt?
Yeah, like you say, you've summed it up pretty well there. It's hundreds galore, and then the bowlers are also coming back strong as well. So, but leading the way, 8 for 53 is Umega Chaturanga. For Osterland's, again, he just seems to be taking 5 wickets or more every week. He's on 55 wickets for the season at an average of 6. So coming out nice for him. And then Safi Ghaffari, 6 for Richmondshire, again, doesn't seem to miss, takes wickets every week. And then, like you say, there was a few more 6-fers, not Premier League cricketers, but Delanca, Uwart, Frainsdale, another 6 for Madaranga Zoysa, 6 for 80 for Dorking, Hanging Heaton's, Methusan Thelina, 5 for 8. Mani Sankamura Singh, again, spoke about him a lot last year. He's carried on his form into this year for Philadelphia, 5 for 56. Dikshanzu Negi, who we just spoke about, he's back to his 100 with a 5-fer. And then, like you say, it's just more and more that we could speak all day about. But yeah, it's just crazy, isn't it? There's something happening every innings, and it's not dominated by either. It's just hundreds and fifers everywhere. Must be nice.
It's good cricket. Full stop. Definitely. Hey, what we got round the country? Because I think it's a bit special at the top of the list this week, Hugh.
Callum Wilson, 8 for 21. Wadebridge against Warrington. Top performance from him. 10 overs, 8 for 21. We'll take that most days. I mean, Toby Bullock, Ormskirk, 20 overs, 8 for 55 against Birkenhead Park in the Liverpool comp. Seb Boats Wallasey, 8 for 58. Liverpool comp's producing the 8-fers. No 9-fers this week, but we can't be greedy every week. And then probably performance of the week, Adam Anjum, Denton West against Shaw. 6 overs, 7 wickets for 3 runs. I think that's tough to beat that, isn't it? Sorry?
It is very tight, that.
And Rowan Nade, 7 for 30 for 3 Bridges against Middleton in the Sussex League. Those are the top 5. But yeah, there's a load more 7-fers. Connor Haddow's there. George Hankins is there. Match-winning performance from him as well. Great effort with the bat as well. So yeah, there's all sorts going on. We've got a lot of 5-fers right the way down. But yeah, some familiar names popping up, as there always is.
Yeah, including our friend Mohammed Irfan. Not that one for Martin. We taking 5 for 25. Yeah, I think the one that blew me away, George Hankins, 7 for 52 and 82 as well in a match-winning performance. You can't complain about that. And it was a steady 82 in about 140 balls, I think it was for Hankins as well, which is really good. And incredible, because it's been his brother who's been getting some big runs recently. But we've got to say congratulations to the arch jug avoider himself, Mr. Connor Haddow. 7 for 45. Sent him a message on Saturday to say well done. I think he said something about time or something like that. But he's right up there in the wicket taking as always. But really, really good stuff there for Connor. Seb Boats, 9 for last week, 8 for this week. Who wants to be? I've Seb Boats bowling at them from Wallasey next week. It's going to be a tough one. But I saw Tom Evans with an interesting stat at the weekend. 4 8-fers across the Liverpool and District top 2 divisions. You don't get that very often, and that you're definitely the bowlers in charge there, to say the least. But as the stats around the country show you, 61 fifers and more, 65 tons. It's about level at the moment.
So, yeah, I mean, the game that sort of jumped out to me for sort of bat and ball, Hasland and Littleborough in the Lancashire League. You got Neil Brand, South African Test player, slow left arm. He's got 64, and then you've got Bryce Parsons, also South African slow left arm. He's getting 6 for in that game as well. Littleborough got the job done relatively comfortably in the end, but or very comfortably in the end. But yeah, so a bit of a bat off, bowl off between 2 absolutely top draw South Africans.
Absolutely. I think the things I'm looking forward to now as we approach the second half of the season, we've had 549 centuries across the country so far this year, and we've had 531 fifers. Couldn't be more level. who will get to 1,000 first? 1,000 tons or 1,000 fifers? That'll be the interesting one. And the battle to 1,000 runs. Adam Jones has got to be leading the way there, hasn't he? Adam's up the top there with 908 runs for Sudbury in East Anglia. Can't see why he's not going to get up to those numbers in the end.
Hey, it's Ryan Reynolds here from Mint Mobile. Now, I was looking for fun ways to tell you that Mint's offer of unlimited premium wireless for $15 a month is back. So I thought it would be fun if we made $15 bills. But it turns out that's very illegal. So there goes my big idea for the commercial. Give it a try at mintmobile.com/switch.
Upfront payment of $45 for 3-month plan, equivalent to $15 per month required. New customer offer for first 3 months only. Speed slow after 35 gigabytes if network's busy. Taxes and fees extra. See mintmobile.com.
Go further with the American Express Business Gold Card. Earn 3 times membership rewards points on flights and prepaid hotels when you book through AmexTravel.com. Whether your destination is a business conference or a client meeting, your purchases will help you earn more points for future trips. Experience more on your travels with Amex Business Gold. Terms apply. Learn more at americanexpress.com/business-gold. Amex Business Gold Card. Built for business by American Express.
It's funny you're talking about that Lancashire game there, Hugh, because it stood out as one of those games of the weekend to have a look at. But talking Lancashire League, joining us now, and he's coming hot from coaching duty for Lancashire. We've been trying to get this guy on for a while now, but we've got Mr. Daniel Salpietro from the league leaders, Lowerhouse. How are you doing, Dan?
Yeah, great. Thanks. It's nice to be on, and thanks for having me.
Got to ask one obvious question. You've got a coat on by the looks of things, and we're sat here in t-shirts and shorts. It ain't that cold up north, surely.
Well, that's what I was just about to say. It's nice to be welcomed from sunny north of England, but when I do look around the skies, they are a bit grey. But they might call me a bit soft because it is actually a little bit humid. But I have got the vest on because a few drops have fallen.
Absolutely. Hey, Lowerhouse, top of the league. Is it fair to say you haven't put much of a foot wrong this year, have you, mate?
Yeah, I would say it's one of them that from the way it progressed last year, if you look at our numbers, sort of the back half of last year were exceptional. And I feel like we felt like if we could start pretty well this year, we put ourselves in a really good position. So ultimately, same squad coming in, culturally togetherness, everyone playing their role all the way through to number 11, bat with ball. It's been outstanding. So, yeah, enjoying each other's success. And it hasn't been the big numbers and the big scores as last year, but just finding a way to win those tight games as well.
And I think one of the keys that I've seen is the fact that the second 11 are 32 points clear as well. So the club as a whole are just all moving in that right direction, aren't they?
Yeah, club depth. It's been a real focus point. I mean, sometimes there can be tendency. It's nothing wrong with the clubs, but touch of segregation between first and second team can sort of happen. But we've really made a conscious effort as a club and as a whole through their junior program through to our senior program to be sort of all included and on the one path journey. So when you got guys playing the second team, we're trying to play a certain style of cricket that encourages them when they do come into our first team that they're ready to play a similar brand of cricket, which is really working with the guys that have stepped up.
You're obviously sitting there coaching Lancashire second team at the moment. Is coaching part of your remit for Lowerhouse as well, or do you just come in and play?
Yeah, well, titled pro, but everywhere I've been, I mean, I've always loved it and always tried to embrace the club as more a player and no titled coach, but certainly take a lot of responsibility in the standards we want to drive as a club and as a unit is first and foremost something where I'm at my age now, where I'm at the back end of my proing career. It's something that I do love to sort of instill and put, within our group and get the best out of each individual because there won't be so long I can play and what sort of legacy can you leave behind? And, yeah, trying to drive that real engagement, that cultural behaviour that I've learned to love within UK cricket for sure.
You talk about your proing career. You've got quite a few play cricket cards. I've been digging them out. But I think the first one I've got is Rishton 2013. Is that correct, or have I missed a couple before then?
No, I've got Lee 2010.
Yeah. Yeah, that was just a sub-pro and won the League one. But yeah, Atherton Cricket Club for 2 years as a pro. Then Rishton for 2 years, Norden for 2 years. So it's almost like I've been kicked out of clubs, but I can assure you I've always been liked there. Yeah. No, it's one of them that I think in my proing journey, it's always been a 2-year stint and learn a lot from each club and what I've taken into, other clubs, sort of some of my own stuff. And really loving the way that Lowerhouse operate and run as a club. It's a really real privilege to be a part of it. I mean, some of the crowds we get on and the people following in the communities, it's so good. It's such a pleasure to be a part of.
Yeah, I mean, your journey is obviously Victorian grade cricket and state cricket. How does the Lancashire League compare to sort of first grade Victoria? You've got to be honest.
Yeah, no, absolutely. To be honest, I mean, I sort of picture and mix in the first, within Victorian Premier Cricket, I sort of match it up to between that second 11's county stuff and the first team. You get a bit of a mix of both. But when, you sort of drop back in Victoria and you play, I sort of step back when I started to raise a family and play more sub-district sort of / VTCA. And I'd match that up to Lancashire League cricket. You've got within your pro at the top and a few good local cricketers. And the depth always seems to be there because Lancashire League's promotion relegation. And I think a lot of leagues that have done that have really strengthened their league. I mean, we know that we can be beaten by a bottom team, and it's just shown that it happened to Burnley not long ago, being beaten by Middleton at the bottom. So we certainly know that turning up to every game, you've got to be onto it. But as far as the mix, I'd say that the Premier Cricket back home drives that standard between, county twos and first class.
Yeah. What is going on between Lowerhouse and Burnley this year, though? You've got them on a string. This has never happened like this before. Burnley just seem to turn up to play you lot, and you lot go, it's only Burnley.
Yeah. I mean, I don't want to shoot myself in the foot and talk too soon. We've got them in a big cup semi-final this weekend, and we just know what Burnley can turn out. I mean, we've made a real sense of how a style of cricket we want to play. We were embarrassed by them last year trying to play a safe game of cricket. So we have full well knowingly, and they know this is an open conversation with them, that front foot cricket, we're coming out to score too many or to take the 10 wickets. Because if you sit on a limb and hedge your bets against Burnley, they're too good at outfit and too experienced to just eke down small totals or single-handedly try and just take games away from you when you give them a bit of a sniff trying to play safe cricket. So consciously against the better teams, we've really tried to put our foot down and insert ourselves in the competition.
Absolutely. The question I've got to ask about your proing career over here, though, is a pretty simple one. Why the northwest of England and never leave the northwest of England? There's a lot of bloody England that you could have gone round.
Yeah, fell in love. And that's not through my wife. My wife and I are from Australia. No, I just fell in love with the northwest, and I just loved the area, and I've built so many connections, so many friends. I've actually got my family, so I got UK ancestry. So my family sort of dates back to down at Hartford. So down that way near Enfield. So there was no reason for me to sort of land up here. I think I got Brendan McArdle was a guy who's placed a lot of people over in the UK, and what a lovely man. And he never sort of got it wrong with me. So he put me up in the northwest, and I've never left. But looking around, I know I go down on a holiday down south, and I think, we played a second team game last week in Horsham, and I thought, why didn't I just land here the first time? And I would have been right every time.
Yeah, I think that's the problem that most players go through. They land at Manchester and they never get south until halfway through the year and go, oh, bugger, what the hell have I done here?
Yeah, that's right. Exactly. And I mean, I love traveling down there and seeing family and just, I had a few mates that played a bit of cricket. So I've watched a bit, but I think traditionally as well, like the proing up in the northwest has been obviously very strong. And as an Australian, we sort of know that's the place to sort of pop into and go to. So yeah, really enjoyed it for what it always has been. I think the one thing I always knew I could go home after 6 months if it was pissing wet. So maybe that was the other thing.
Yeah, that's about right. Yeah, unfortunately, the lads at Lowerhouse and Burnley don't get that choice.
Yeah.
But you talk about the crowds up there, Dan. I mean, Hope was sending me the photos a couple of weeks ago. 800 to 1,000 on there on a Friday night for a T20.
Yep.
This is proper stuff, this, isn't it, up there?
Yeah, and I was absolutely mind blown. My first one when I turned up, I've always known it's had a strong following as Lowerhouse. I did turn up to Lowerhouse and just not sure what to expect, but I knew it had a decent following. And we had a local rival charity game against Padiham. Thinking I'll get a hit in, I'll get amongst it, and sure enough, there was about 1,400 on, and I was thinking, geez, I could set myself a real bad impression here if I go out there and I don't really put on a show. So, it's been fantastic. I've got 3 young kids, and I'll be out in the middle batting, and one's over that side, the other's playing over the other side, and it's a really nice family club to be a part of, and it's that strong culture of the Northwest, especially within the Lancashire League. Traditionally, Sunday cricket, where people are like, "What are you doing playing on a Sunday?" It's been something that it's become such a norm, and seeing the way that the families get involved and the way the players and it's all embracive, and it's one of them that people just traditionally love doing now.
So I've got a question about Sunday cricket, and it's something that's quite simple. Number one, it drives me and Hugh bloody bonkers because it's a pain in the backside.
Yeah.
Having all the stats come through on a Saturday, and we've got to wait for Lancashire again.
Lancashire,
yeah. But the big one for me is the national competitions are all on a Sunday.
Yep.
Now, they tend to clash with a lot of what you guys play in cup games and league games.
Yep.
How do you fancy a year where you're playing in a lower house side in the National Cup?
Yep.
How do you think that would go?
Yeah.
Looking at the standards.
Yeah, I've had this conversation with them, and I'll give you one example. In the Lancashire knockout, historically, I turned up coming from the clubs I've played in the Lancashire knockouts, and it's been something we've really sort of worn hard on sleeve, gone out there and been up for it. And I just sensed going into this year, because we qualified, that there wasn't as much on the line, and then I was trying to understand, and what happened was Lowerhouse had to forfeit a couple of times due to being the Sunday cricket, so the real prestige sort of lost within the Lancashire League, and I think that stems to what's with the national knockout. I think Lowerhouse would love to be a part of that, would be fantastic to feature in it, and would actually really be a pretty competitive team, and feature in it at a strong level. So I would say yes, it'd be fantastic. And the only way that would work in coordinates with, obviously, what happens within the Lancashire League. So my answer is yes, I'd love to see it. And I think guys would give it a fair crack. But it's just a historic league, just saying that, got to have your cup of tea on a Sunday morning and head off to cricket.
Absolutely. Hey, let's just have a quick look around the Lancashire League in terms of players and what's been going on there this year. Yeah, at the top of the bowling, you've got Bryce Parsons, a name we know extremely well, Dushan Vimukti in second place there.
Yep.
But you've got Thomas Walker and Patrick Martin and yourself in third, fourth and sixth place. Has that been the key for you guys? 3 of the top 6 bowlers from one club. That's unheard of around the rest of the country as far as I can see.
Yeah. And that's what I look at. I honestly look at our team when we turn up. We've got depth and strength. Tom Walker's 21, 22, just turned 22 years old, bowling like the wind for club cricket.
Yeah.
And, you'll see he's getting the pros out every week. He's nicking them off. So he's making our job a lot easier as well, with myself and Paddy Martin. And Paddy's a traditional off spinner that does a really good job with 7 for on the weekend. And it just showed I could play an anchoring role at the other end and not feeling like I'm searching. So it's just one of them that I think the depth within our bowling unit. That's why we feature strong in the cups, T20s, because we don't really have a weak link, is what I'd say within that. So I think, being able to have that depth, and where I'm at as far as my proing and everything goes, this is what really thrives me, is seeing other people have that success within our group. And who knows, hopefully a Tom Walker might be wearing one of these tops soon. So that's what we're aspiring to try and get him to do.
No, you're doing all right, though, aren't you, as well? I mean, you're averaging 8, I think, with the ball. So you're not doing too bad. It's quite useful having somebody who's not searching for wickets, averaging 8.
Yeah, I'll tell you what they'll tell you. They'll say that I just come on after they're 5 down and then get the rest.
Is that right? Right.
That's pretty much what they keep saying. So it's it's the only time I think, if Tom doesn't get out the pro, then I'm having to bowl to him when they're 50 or 60. That's probably the only time it's been difficult for me.
Right.
And outside that, we're just playing a really good, hard brand of cricket, and all of us are really doing our bit.
Yeah, and on the other side of the park, you've got Neil Brand leading the batting in the Lancashire League. Ex-South African Test captain in very recent times. I mean, how good is it to get people like that into the league?
Oh, it's so good. And again, I'll tell you what was really impressive, seeing Brand and the way he sets up, and just the alpha male in him. You had a young Tom Walker coming down at him in a rain-affected game saying, "Show me how good you are." And we're thinking, oh, Tom, you're talking about someone who's a pretty good cricketer here. And sure enough, knocked his poles out and backed it up. So, I mean, it's fantastic for the league. It's memories and moments that these young guys will live and remember, because when do you get these opportunities? I can't remember anyone getting those opportunities in Australia unless you're playing Premier Cricket, and in one team it might be, Shane Warne and a couple others featuring when they come back, and it's amazing stories that live on with you forever. And I mean, Tom's just had one of them against Brand.
Yeah, and the Lancs League's famous for these kind of players, and it's over the years, and the rise of franchise cricket is sort of dial back the availability of a lot of these guys through the summers. But to have someone like Neil Brand there, it's great that the Lancs League is still showing that they can bring in these kind of caliber of player.
Yeah, that's right. And we, you don't always look at it when you're looking at it from a club point of view. You're always checking an eye out on the pros and who's coming, who's landed, how many test wickets they're taking or runs, and it's something they all look out for every year. And we definitely still want some of the big names featuring in it, because traditionally, I walked into a room of Rishton Cricket Club and I looked around the room and saw the photos on the wall, and I had a mate with me. He goes, "Oh, geez, your stuff." You had Alan Donald up there, you had Viv Richards, you had Michael Holding, and then there's Dan Salpietro. So I think they just found the wrong name.
Absolutely. And look, I know you've got to go shortly, Dan, but just talk to us about some of the younger players you've seen around the league in the last year or two. We're always interested to hear from a player's perspective. Who have you seen at Lowerhouse and elsewhere? You've talked about Thomas Walker already.
Yep.
But who else have you seen, batters and bowlers? You've gone, that's a name that you need to keep an eye out on.
Yeah, I think there's sort of been, Harry Snowden, who's a quick from Burnley, and him and Tom are probably the two that match up there. As far as depth, I think it's more the guys that are probably at a mature age now, where we're finding within the league. I wouldn't say too many young highlight packages. There are a couple that are around the Lanc setup that are just too young and they're just coming in, like a Jack Brunt who plays twos and he's just coming into the first team, but he's got the ability to sort of get more done. And then, like I look at our club and our team, we're so lucky to have a Johnny Whitehead, who you'll see him up the top in the runs. One of the better characters within the club cricket. Ben Heap's been playing at the club for years, doing it all. So they're at that mature age, still finding out that they've got more cricket to give, and it seems to go on. So, I would say certainly, if a Johnny Whitehead could be a few years younger, he'd be what a super talent he is. So as far as it goes around, it's pretty evenly poised. It's a lot of mature age cricketers, I think. Clinton Perrin's young son, he's playing at Littleborough, and he's just starting to get his numbers up. He played a couple of twos games last year. I think he could turn a corner and up his strike rate a bit and be someone that could be sort of, a bit more back in the scene of it. But yeah, it seems to be pretty evenly poised and mature age cricketers, I think.
There was, I saw that your Victorian cricket played for Airport West. Is that correct?
Yeah, correct. Yeah.
So there's a lad that caught our eye last year. I'm not sure I can pronounce his name. Kundir Hadir, who batted 3 for you. So I think it was last year. He had an incredible season last year for Grantham, and that was after a winter batting 3 with you at Airport West. So he really caught the eye last year. He's not quite kicked on. Maybe he wasn't out with you in the summer. Yeah. So what's he like as a player?
Yeah, Kundir, what a great kid he was. And he was someone who's probably a little bit regimented in his batting style. I probably opened him up to be a little bit more unorthodox in his approach. He wanted to score leg side, but was too scared of getting out LBW. So I think, honestly, we just shifted him across and got him just in a better mindset and a better instilled belief. And hopefully he can be someone that can put on my coaching resume then and say that they only did it because of me. But he put a lot of faith and a lot of trust in me. And it was one of them I was so happy for him. I got to see him, go back home and put his skills into play. So I think it was a really good thing, and I did take a lot out of it. And Kundir, what a great kid, and wish him well, and hopefully gets back into some of the county.
You're not signed in for Lowerhouse yet, then?
Nah, we'll see if he wants to come up. I don't think he likes the rain, to be honest. So Indianapolis is about as high as we can get him.
Yeah. And you sounded properly like a proper old pro now, talking about seeing these youngsters come through, Dan. Yeah, but you've had a little injury this year yourself, but you've still managed to play 21 games. You look as though you're on target for the same sort of numbers. It's still there, and the love for the game is still to be able to do it. It's there, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. No, I always go out to do my best in every game I play, try and win games of cricket for my club, and hopefully we're in contention to lift 3 trophies at the end of the year, and that's all you want, and that's all you ask. And certainly when the big game come, I want to be the man that gets it done. So it's still fire in the belly to get it done there, and hopefully we can.
Well, we'll leave you to your semi-final this weekend. I think it's a Worsley Cup semi-final, isn't it, against Burnley?
It is.
And the winner plays at home. You'll get a big crowd on there if you win that one.
Yep.
But still a long way to go in the league as well, and you've got to be feeling confident in that one.
Yeah, we know the work and we know the job at hand. We've got such a thriving and driving group that knows there's a lot of work to do. We know Burnley's huge this weekend, and what it does and what it means for the club. Like I said, it's going to be 3,500 packed out, marquees everywhere. We all remember it last year, and we had the privilege to win it last year. So it's almost a repeat to do it and go again. And we all said after it happened, how good would this be to do again? So we're in a position in our own destiny, and quarterfinal Friday night as well, in the T20 at home, which is going to be very busy. It's going to be sunshine and 19 degrees, believe it or not. So that's great. But yeah, we're looking forward to it. Every challenge ahead, and it's a really exciting time for the club, and the club's in such a healthy position.
Brilliant, Dan. Thanks for joining us, mate. We'll let you get back to that Lancashire twos and see how you get on against mine and Hugh's local club, Derbyshire.
Yeah, absolutely, mate. We've won the toss and we're batting again, so hopefully we can do it a bit better this time round.
Yeah.
Thanks, Dan. Mate.
Yeah, thanks, guys. See you, bye.
This episode is brought to you by Indeed. When your computer breaks, you don't wait for it to magically start working again. You fix the problem. So why wait to hire the people your company desperately needs? Use Indeed's sponsored jobs to hire top talent fast. And even better, you only pay for results. There's no need to wait. Speed up your hiring with a $75 sponsored job credit at Indeed.com/podcast. Terms and conditions apply.
It's the Smucker's Uncrustables podcast with your host, Uncrustables. Okay, today's guest is rough around the edges. Please welcome Crust.
Thanks for having me.
Today's topic, he's round with soft, pillowy bread.
Hey.
Filled with delicious PB&J.
Are you talking about yourself?
And you can take him anywhere.
Why'd you invite?
And we are out of time.
Are you really cutting me off?
Uncrustables are the best part of the sandwich. Sorry, Crust.
We've talked Lancashire League with Dan there, Hugh. Should we just look what else happened in the Lancashire League at the weekend, mate?
Yep. It's a few bit lopsided games. It's always a bit disappointing, just from my own point of view, just scanning I always like the close games. But the Burnley-Darwin game, I mean, it could have been more interesting, but I think from Darwin's point of view, they'd be very, very happy with the result. Darwin bowled out for 151 in 50 overs. Tough going there. Rishab Tiwari, 38 off 83 balls. It certainly wasn't easy going. Jack Davis with 4 for 33. Ollie Wetton 3 for 25. And then Burnley bowled out in reply, 119 all out in 40 overs. Kazim Shah, 66 off 64 was a top scorer, but Ocker Erasmus got through him 6 for 34 from 15 overs for him. So yeah, it was a great win for Darwin. Littleborough hasn't done the game we touched on there. Littleborough 158 for 1, chasing Haslington's 157 all out. Much more straightforward performance there. Zach Perrin 86. And that's the game with Bryce Parsons 6 for 42, and Neil Brown got his 64 in that. Ollie Lord 1 for 18 for Haslington, got the only wicket. Lowerhouse Todmorden, I think this probably officially classifies as a heap. 52 all out in 22 overs, chasing 143 all out from Lowerhouse. So yeah, it's still tough going, is it? But Pat Martin 7 for 31 for Lowerhouse. Not a huge amount from Todmorden. 4 for 46 for Hamza Ali was the best of the Todmorden bowlers. Middleton Rochdale. Middleton put up 201 for 7. Rochdale, actually, this game was closer than I remember. Rochdale 188 all out in 48 overs, so they were well in with a shout there. Price with 101 off 143 balls, the top scorer in for Middleton. Second top scorer is 31, so it's a terrific performance from him. Adwadia 4 for 48. Rochdale, Chapman 47 off 71 balls, and Harlan 4 for 42 in reply for them. Norden, Clitheroe, top scorer in the Lancs League this week, 322 for 6, sort of belies the low scoring games that have gone before it. They batted first, and Norden bowled out for 181 in 32 overs. Madhav Kushik, 123 off 122 balls, and Ali Ross with 91 as well. Clitheroe also, Ali Ross got 5 for 50, so it's a terrific all-round performance from him. One of the best all-rounders this week. Jack Taylor 3 for 44. And then Ramsbottom, they put on 232 for 7 batting first, and Wellsden got it with 2 overs to go, 5 down. So Elliot Guilford 62 and just 35 balls, and there's Dushan Vermukti still going strong, 55 off 68 for him. Tom Parton for Ramsbottom 64, and Ben Pearson 59, but the bowlers weren't able to put up these big numbers between them. But Ali Olfin 2 for 42 from his 9.
Yeah, the scores were all very similar, apart from that Clitheroe scoring 322 across the league, really, weren't they? And Jermaine Blackwood, who's playing for Norden this season, the ex-West Indian Test player, being taken to town a little bit there with 12 overs, 0 for 68. And he's got 20 wickets this year. And it's a tough ask for him to come into the league and do that, but maybe not quite getting to the levels that our friend Mr. Salpietro's got to when it comes to out there. When you want your pro, top of the rankings, don't you?
Yeah, just one name that caught my eye in the week. Talking of West Indians, we've got Jamal Warrican playing for the West Indies against Australia. Left arm spinner, and he's played a fair bit of club cricket in this country. Matt, I think he's one of your Cric lads.
Yeah, he is. It was 2023. We placed him at Denton West. So, like you say, 2 years later, he's vice captain of the Test side now. So it's a nice little upgrade.
Yeah, did all right. 46 wickets for them at 9. So he's obviously reasonably handy with his slow left arm. I also think his name belies, just looking at Warrican, you basically think he's bowling 90. So bowling slow left arm isn't quite in line with the name, but the quality is certainly there.
Absolutely. Just out of interest on that one, Matt, Cric's bowling cohort, what is the split between seam and spin? Is it like 10-90?
It's a big difference.
Just out of interest.
I wouldn't know. I genuinely wouldn't know without diving into everything.
Okay, let me ask it the other way. When clubs come to Cric and are asking about players, it tends to be that spinner all-rounder far more than the seamer they're asking for.
Yeah, it doesn't. Like you say, leagues are changing now. They're turning into limited overs cricket, and people wanting that batting all-rounder that can score the runs and just chip in with 10, 15 overs, what may be. So like you say, your left arm spinner from one end, they are still knocking about, but I'd like to say they are depleting a lot more because clubs want that three-dimensional player.
And the changing rules around a lot of leagues so that they have got limited number of overs that they can bowl means that they can't bowl 28.
Exactly, yeah. So like you say, Northern Leagues, the capped at 15.
Exactly.
And I think majority aren't they? A lot more.
I think 15 still at the top end. Would you believe?
Yeah.
I mean, it does make sense from actually making people enjoy cricket point of view. If you've got two lads basically bowling all the overs, and if they are maybe overseas like Neil Brand, someone like that who's also opening the batting, it's basically a couple of lads playing the whole match. But at the same time, it's the opposition. You want to actually, maybe not every week, but you want to be facing those kind of players, don't you? Maybe not the guys bowling 90, but I think I'd have loved to have faced, Shane Warne or somebody along of that caliber. I'm sure I wouldn't have lasted more than 2 balls, but it's just tick it off on your resume. So yeah, there's a bit of both ways, but yeah, it makes it. There's a few less thanks for coming players if they're not bowling 28 from one end.
Yeah, exactly.
Most definitely. Hey, let's go across the Pennines and have a look at the Yorkshire North League, Hugh, where Castleford are leading from Sheriff Hutton Bridge by 6 points. And there is a considerable gap of 26 points there back to York in 3rd place. And the way the point system works in Yorkshire North, that's quite considerable, that is already. At the weekend, Castleford beat Woodhouse Grange and Sheriff Hutton beat Hull Zingari. What have you seen across that league, mate?
Yeah, it's a fun week. We're just jumping from the Lancs League into the Prem North. You've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 200s scored. We've got a 300. Sesse let us down a little bit with an all-out for 165, but Knaresborough 169 for no wicket. Getting it done very comfortably. So we'll start there. Blake Weymouth, 81 off 89. William Wade, 76 off 94. So I don't know if our good friend Nigel Martin was in that side. That's one thing I didn't check.
No, he wasn't.
Bad luck. But we should keep an eye out for him. Harry Stevens got 34 for Sesse, but not a huge amount else there. Ollie Fryer, 4 for 34, getting most of the wickets. Hull Zingari, Sheriff Hutton Bridge, 303 for 6. Hull Zingari 231 for 7 in reply. They didn't get the job done there. Thomas Shorthouse 73 for 7 Sheriff Hutton Bridge, but it was a deep batting card. Clark Donaghy 65, Alex Lilly 61, Alex Wood 38, Mark Fisher with 3 for 29, and Clark Donaghy 2 for 50 as well to go with his 65. Snell Kothanka, 111 off 105 for Hull Zingari was a standout for them, but he didn't have a huge amount of support other than Jack Story with 46. York, 135 all out, chasing 2-2-1 from Harrogate. Jack Shutt, 58, and David Stiff, 49 for Harrogate. York didn't have a lot in reply. Harry Sullivan with 30 was top score there. Craig Broadley, 5 for 20, was the standout performer for Harrogate with the ball. That's 9 overs, 5 for 20. That's pretty useful returns there. Clifton Alliance, Beverley Town. Clifton batting first, put up 2-3-4. Beverley got it in the final over, 6 down. Ed Wade for Clifton Alliance, 106, but not a huge amount of help. He also got 3 for 40, but Paul Ellis, 76, not out of just 64 balls. And then quite a few lads chipping in with some serious 45, 38, 32 serious contributions down the card. So Matt Saint 4 for 60 for Beverley Town was the pick of their bowlers. And then Castleford at the top, batting first, 255 all out in 49.4 overs. Woodhouse Grange made a fist of it, but weren't able to get too close. They finished 226 for 10 in 48 overs. Castleford's Scott Hopkinson, 57. David Wainwright, 47. Liam Hyde, 40. So another pretty deep batting card. And Dave Wainwright, 6 for 44 as well. He's up there on the all-rounders of the weekend. Woodhouse Grange's Lee Goddard got 64. Zach Wilson, 46. But yeah, that was most of the batting from them. Chris Suddaby, 3 for 45 was the best of their bowlers.
Yeah, a good game that was at Castleford, between Castleford and Woodhouse Grange. Woodhouse Grange, I was tracking that one in particular to see where they were going along the old worm, and they literally were just behind Cass all the way up there. But Mr. David Wainwright with his 6 wickets, he did the job for them. But interestingly, in the Yorkshire North League, just 2 players with a 5 or more and just 2 players with a ton or more across the whole league. Yeah, it really was a balanced weekend, to say the least. And yeah, I think the one bit sort of good news, shall we say, for a club in that league right now is, Bryn Llewellyn may have gone home for Clifton Alliance, and good luck to Bryn. I understand that his partner is having a baby, but Clifton Alliance are in 10th place, having won the league last year, but they probably won't go down, because Sesse are already being left adrift at the bottom of the Yorkshire North League, and there's only one relegation place after Scarborough and Scarpard at the beginning of the season. Right. So it could be one of the biggest turnarounds in the Premier Leagues, that, couldn't it? 1st to 10th. Well,
you've got Burnley as well, who are in the Lancs League doing something similar, aren't they? It's just tough, isn't it? I think it's the thing that gets me is the incessant nature of Premier League cricket. To stay up there year after year after year is bloody difficult. Especially as it's not professional. You can't just go and buy a whole new first team. Some clubs obviously do spend a fair bit of cash, but it's not easy to spend money when you do have money. There's so many other factors at play. You can't be shipping people in and put them up in houses and all this kind of stuff. It's difficult.
We've got one on the doorstep. We talk about Swarkston. Yeah. They won the league back-to-back a couple of years ago. There was talk about 3 people, they didn't get to win it. And now they're in that bottom third of the Derbyshire Premier League, and we'll be talking to somebody from the Derbyshire League in a couple of weeks' time. But just shows you that you've got to keep that consistency coming through, literally from the juniors, as well as your sponsorship, as well as it's the full package, isn't it?
I mean, obviously I know Swarkston pretty well, and they've got the juniors coming through, so I think they'll be fine. I think they lost quite a few players fairly recently and having a bit of a dip, but I think they'll come again.
Yeah, I think that junior section's really important. I think the one bit of news I've got to give everyone, and this might be good or bad news for you, but next week, guys, there is no match week recording, and the reason there is no match week recording next week is because I'm having a holiday. I'm sorry, I'm having a holiday, I'm having a break, but don't worry, we have got a episode going out. And for those of you who have heard our episode of The Overthrow this week with Liv Bithell, the cricket widow, we've got another one next week. We've got a great conversation that Hugh and I had yesterday with Lucy Norman, the chair of the North Wales Premier League. And it was fascinating to get an administrator's view of everything that goes on, wasn't it, Hugh?
Yeah, she was fantastic, absolutely fantastic. She said she was a chatty person, and she proved herself right.
She did.
So we didn't have to do much work. It was definitely she led, and she should have been running the podcast. I mean, basically, it should just be called the Lucy Norman Podcast. So yeah.
Did you hear that, Lucy? Hey, have a good one this weekend, boys, and I will see you all in 2 weeks' time for another Match Week episode. But in the meantime, get some runs, Mr. Taaffe, and you, Mr. Newsome.
Got to play first.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Enjoy, boys. Thanks for joining us at the Premier League Cricket Club. We'll be back soon with more from the world of Premier League and NCCA cricket. But in the meantime, don't forget to subscribe, leave us a review and follow us wherever you get your socials. Or maybe check out our website, premierleaguecricket.co.uk, to stay updated. Until next time, have a good one.
This podcast is part of the Sports Social Podcast Network. Shop the Sherwin-Williams 4th of July sale and get 30% off paints and stains June 27th through July 7th. With prices starting at $34.29, it's the perfect time to transform your space with color. Whether you're looking to revamp your interior or exterior, we have you covered with bold hues, soothing neutrals, and everything in between. Visit your neighborhood Sherwin-Williams store or shop the sale online. Delivery available on qualifying orders. Click the banner to learn more. Retail sales only. Some exclusions apply. See store for details.